My name is Angela Riviere. I work as a curriculum manager for the International Baccalaureate in their Diploma Programme Development Department, and I'm specifically responsible for reviewing and developing the Social and Cultural Anthropology course that we offer for 16 to 18-year-olds. Finding out about this day in terms of raising the profile of anthropology as a discipline, I think is fantastic. Very often when you say to anybody, what is anthropology? Or when I tell them that's what I studied, that's what I taught, they have no idea what it means. I think Bruce Parry was fantastic for anthropology in many ways. It brought it into everybody's living room, really. And I think in terms of students, a day like this to find out actually what the subject is and the scope of the subject in terms of what they can do in the future is fantastic. Well, we're an international educational organisation. We have 4 programmes of study. The programme that I work in is the Diploma Programme, which is for 16 to 18-year-olds. It's a 2-year pre-university course. It differs from the A-level system in the sense that students do 6 subjects plus 3 aspects of a core. Social and Cultural Anthropology is one subject in Group 3, which is called Individuals and Societies. It's been part of the IB since 1968 when the IB started. However, it remains one of our smaller subjects, although the teachers and the students involved love the course. I think because it's a lesser well-known subject and also it's competing against subjects like history, economics, psychology, the number of students doing it is only slowly increasing. But I think, in terms of the International Baccalaureate, the anthropology is a subject that really embodies what we stand for. We're about developing holistic students who are engaged globally, who are internationally minded, and I think anthropology as a discipline really embodies the very ethos of an IB education. And as more and more schools, I think, and education systems want to develop students who are globally engaged and think of themselves as a global self, I think anthropology as a discipline is one of the areas that really can help to develop that. So, in terms of the IB, we've been doing it for years, but I'm glad that the A-level now is, getting so much momentum in the UK, because I think for the discipline, it's a fantastic thing. I came into anthropology myself late. I did a sociology degree, and I wondered to myself why I'd never heard of anthropology, in the sense that I don't think it's a subject you could ever be bored with. There's so much scope, anthropology of sport, anthropology of food, anthropology of dance, whatever, it's there. And I think as the world becomes smaller and we live in an increasingly globalised world, it's no longer a question of sort of this intangible distance between us and them that it was in the past. And I think anthropology as a discipline really speaks to the lives of individuals, and particularly teenagers today who are growing up in an increasingly complex world. And what anthropology does as a discipline is really gets them to question the world in which they live and maybe the bubbles that they have existed in, to understand the nature of their own engagement with the world, and also how other people then perceive their engagement with the world. And I think as a discipline, it's, in terms of the skills it helps to develop, international mindedness, being globally aware, culturally aware, breaking down those barriers that have previously existed. I think it's a subject that is inherent in terms of doing that. It naturally does it, it's organic. In terms of where it could lead to, well, where couldn't it lead to, really? I think it's one of those disciplines that if you study it, it doesn't shut any doors for you. Increasingly companies now are employing anthropologists in terms of applied anthropology. HSBC have marketed themselves on sort of going into countries and understanding the countries from the perspective of the people in those countries. And where do they get that from? Anthropologists, So increasingly, I think anthropology is becoming a discipline that not only universities but organisations are seeing the benefits of, in terms of, as I said, the world is a smaller place, and needing to understand how the world works, and it's a complex world, and anthropology gives you an insight into understanding just the nature of sort of human behaviour subject. And it really is a subject that you can make your own. Okay, there are foundations of what underpins the subject in terms of theoretical perspectives and concepts that run through, but really you can take it in a direction that supports your interests. And I think for students that's increasingly important, and I think they need to be engaged with subjects that they feel reflect and speak to their own lives, as well as the lives of people around them and the different kinds of people that they are engaging with at the moment and will engage with in the future.